Welcome back, friends. If you're new here, welcome. I'm so glad you're here. I know that many people are struggling right now and are relying on food shelves to make meals for their families. When I was a teenager, I volunteered quite a bit at our local food shelf. I know some of the basic items that food shelves give out, so I'm going to make some meals based on those specific items. So have a seat and let's get started. I'm going to make some garlic butter ramen noodles. I have a large saucepan. I'm going to add 4 tablespoons of butter. I have my heat turned on to medium, and then I need 3 teaspoons of minced garlic, and I'm just using the jarred garlic. And we're going to cook this until the garlic is brown. Keep stirring, otherwise your garlic will burn. These are starting to turn a little brown. Now I need 3 cups of chicken broth. If you do not have chicken broth, you can always add 3 cups of water and 3 teaspoons of the chicken bouillon. I happen to have some chicken broth, so I'm going to add that. I just poured it over the spoon so it wouldn't splash all over. Then I need to add 1/4 of a teaspoon of salt and 1/4 of a teaspoon of pepper. Then you need 4 packs of the ramen noodles. Doesn't matter what flavor. I'm going to add all 4 of those and all the little crumbs, and then stir just to kind of coat them. You want them all to get in here. And then take your season packets and throw them away. We're going to cook this until the liquid is mostly evaporated. And remember, ramen noodles only take like 3 minutes to cook, so there's not a lot of liquid here. That's okay, I think we'll be okay. Keep cooking. All right, most of that is absorbed. Now I'm going to stir in 2 tablespoons of butter or margarine. Take it off the heat and then stir until it melts. You can sprinkle a little parsley on top if you want. Now for the taste test, because I've never had this. This is really good. It has a more subtle garlic flavor than I thought it would. Basically, it's just buttered ramen noodles. We're gonna have a side salad and veggies and dip with this. I'm gonna make some dirty rice. I have an electric skillet here and I'm going to turn this to 275 degrees. If you are using a skillet on your stovetop, just turn that to a medium high. Let this get hot and add just a little bit of canola oil to it. If you have olive oil, that's fine too. I'm just gonna add a drizzle of canola oil. I'm going to use 1 teaspoon of jarred garlic. I have 1 small onion diced. And then you need 1 bell pepper, any color diced up. I have some frozen. I always keep peppers in my freezer, so I happen to have a variety of them, but use whatever you have. And I'm going to cook this until they're soft. This has been cooking about 5 minutes. Now I have 1.5 cups of white rice, long grain white rice. If you have medium rice, that's fine. And then 3 cups of chicken broth. If you do not have chicken broth, you can always add 3 cups of water and 3 teaspoons of chicken bouillon. I have 3 cups of chicken broth. And then I need 1 teaspoon of Cajun seasoning. I do not have that. I have Creole seasoning. I realize it's not the same. Don't come for me, but I'm going to use it anyway. 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper, 1/2 of a teaspoon of salt, 1/2 of a teaspoon of paprika, and it calls for 1/2 of a teaspoon of thyme. I feel like that's a little too much. I'm just going to do a pinch. If you do not have this, just omit that part. And then add your ground hamburger or ground turkey. I have 1/2 pound of ground turkey. And then you can leave it like this. If you have a can of kidney beans or pinto beans or black beans, drain them and then rinse them off really good and then pour them on top. And I'm just gonna add these to this. Add my beans, stir that, and then I'm gonna cover this. And if you're cooking this on the stovetop, you wanna turn it to a low and then let it simmer for 20 minutes. I'm just gonna keep an eye on this and let it cook for about 20 minutes. All right, it's been 20 minutes. So I'm just gonna test this to make sure the rice is done. And it is. Looks good, smells really good, tastes good. And there's dirty rice. Most food shelves give out some type of bread, so I would just serve that with a slice of bread, some butter. My bread doesn't look very pretty, but there it is with some dirty rice, and that is dinner tonight. And now a word from today's sponsor. It's me. Hi. Have you ever heard of the 2-2-2 food rule? You have 2 hours to get your leftovers into the refrigerator. Once the food temperature drops below steaming hot, it's safe to put in the refrigerator. You have 2 days to eat your refrigerated leftovers. At that point, if you do not eat them, you can put them in the freezer or toss them. Have I gone more than 2 days? Yes. Gone probably 3 or 4. Yeah, haven't gotten sick, but we'll stick with 2 days. Once frozen, you have 2 months to eat them. That's just what Google says. I think I've probably left them in the freezer for about 6 months. It's fine. And now let's get back to cooking. One common item that you get at food banks is dried beans, but maybe you don't know what to do with those. Today I'm going to show you how to cook these. This is a 16-ounce bag, which is also 1 pound. 1 pound of dry beans, like this 16-ounce bag, is equal to 6 1/3 cup of cooked beans. You do not need to cook the entire bag at once. You can just cook what you need. If you have a recipe that takes 2 cans of beans, but all you have is dry beans, 1 cup of dry beans makes 3 cups of cooked beans, which is equal to 2 cans. I will put that in the description because it's hard to remember all of that. So I will put that in the description box for you guys. To store your dried beans, you can just pour them in an airtight container and keep it like that. Sometimes I put them in a container and sometimes I just twist the end and just put a little twist tie on the end. If you have a rubber band, you can just put a rubber band around there. And then just to make sure it stays fresh and keep the bugs out, I put this in a Ziploc bag. And you can store these for months, years, forever maybe. I don't know. I don't keep them forever because I use them. But they last a really long time, so you do not need to use them all right away. Though I do know that at food banks you get them quite frequently. So this is one way to store them. I'm just going to show you with 1 cup of beans. Put some on my counter or a clean working surface, and you just pick through. If you see any little rocks, it's rare that you find any, but occasionally there are some. These look good. I'm going to measure out these. I'm just going to measure out 1 cup. I'm so close. Need a few more. Cooking dried beans is a process, or it can be a process, depending on how you cook them. You can cook them ahead of time, and if you cook up 1 cup of dry beans, which is equal to 2 15-ounce cans of drained beans. I'm going to show you how to cook just the pinto beans. Any dried bean is about the same time. Step 1 was sorting the beans, which we did. Now we're going to rinse the beans. Put your beans in a colander, just rinse it really good under the water. All of your dried bean bags actually have the instructions on the back. You can just follow that. My favorite way to cook dried beans is in my pressure cooker. So much faster. I have my 1 cup of dried beans. I'm just going to cover it with cold water. You don't really need to measure, just so that they're covered. If you want to add some chicken bouillon to it, you could do that. I'll do 2 teaspoons of chicken bouillon. I'm not even going to stir it. I'm just going to leave it. Make sure your seal is on your lid. Then I'm going to push bean lentils and then time cook. And I'm going to go down to 30 minutes. Pinto beans are 25 to 30 minutes. I find 30 minutes is a little bit better. They're not as hard. And black beans are 20 to 25 minutes. Again, those I cook 25 minutes. I let the pressure release naturally, and I will open it up and check it out. All right, these are done. They're soft, just like the canned beans would be. So now you can just drain this, and if you want to freeze them, you can do that. Let them cool down and then put them in a baggie and label it. I'll show you how I do that. Otherwise, they are ready to be used. But I'm going to drain these and set these aside for later. 1 cup of dry pinto beans made 2.5 cups of cooked pinto beans. 1 1/4 cup of cooked pinto beans is equal to 1 15-ounce can of pinto beans. Put half of it in a bag, so 1 1/4 cup. I messed up, put half a cup, but 1 1/4 cup. I'm just going to freeze this. Anytime I need a can of pinto beans, I can just pull this out of the freezer and it's already cooked. With the rest of these beans, I'm going to add half of a tablespoon of taco seasoning and mix it together. You can use this in place of meat for tacos or burritos. I'm just going to put some over rice and make a rice bowl. I've got some lettuce, tomatoes, cheese, salsa, and sour cream. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Remember, if you need help or if you know someone who needs help, visit your local food pantry. Even local churches have resources available for you. Some will even have food donations. And remember, these places are there to help you, so don't feel embarrassed or ashamed. We gotta feed our family, right? Most people struggle at some point. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.